Let you smell the tap for 30
here's,
cents.
Here's the works of your labor. Here's the smell of a fine Dallas craft beer. Now give it back. Give it back. Make sure you guys jump over onto YouTube.
Don't spit.
And check us out, man. It's going to be a good time. We love you guys. Please join us over there. If you can on Twitch, please join us on Twitch. If not, check us out on YouTube. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.
Well, I see it running on the Twitch.
With our hot drinks. Super hot.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, it's going.
Oh, yeah, we should be going.
We're good, baby.
YouTube should be good now, too. I just put it as episode 22.
Oh, yeah. We got a bunch of waters all over the place here.
We can probably move them. You just want to push them back in the frame?
Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Oh, shit, Mike. Shane, you're so smart.
Here,
there you go.
Ah, my glowing arm.
Oh, we got a commercial on the YouTubes. Are we getting paid for this?
Oh, better get paid for that. Get that YouTube money. So we're good?
Yeah.
Shane, we
the
good?
Wix Studios.
We totes good. Man, Wix, I hate Wix.
Why?
This is shitty.
Because it's bullshit.
So, as you can
this
tell,
woman in the Wix commercial is kind of attractive. She looks like a model.
Girl, look at that model.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, that's
2005.
She is certainly a model.
She's one of Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriends.
Maybe one of them. He's got like 8, right?
He only dates models.
Shane,
oh,
are
there you are.
For the show?
No.
Look at that.
We need to get. I don't think you're in frame, Shane.
I am now. What's gonna be like?
I guess we got a further delay. The YouTube's froze on me.
No.
Oh, no, not the YouTubes. All right. So, let's kick things off. I'm trying to get like my Twitch chat open, but you got it there? Cool. All right. So, today's episode is brought to you by the letter F.
And Twix.
And
buy one today. Oh, wait. No, sorry.
Oh, Twix. Twix is good, man.
Are we sponsored by letters like Sesame Street?
I hope so. So, I mean, like, so let's try
if we can get that F money, that's some good money.
Ooh, the Twitch, the 4K it's right. It's that 4K. You can see it.
4K
like, watch
is
this.
mind-blowing.
It's almost like 3D.
Oh, there you go. Turn the lights off.
Ooh. Oh, we got like mood lighting here.
Internet is laggy here, though. Yeah, I saw that, Tiff. Turn off Fox News, and you'll be able to use it better. Stop watching Fox News.
Yeah, shut down the fake news.
Shut it down.
Fake news. There we go. It looks good. Like we look so good in 4K, Mike.
Watching the Weather Channel.
Mostly you.
Oh, the YouTube's is dead.
The YouTubes. Well, if people are watching this on the YouTubes,
there we go.
They need to watch this over on the Twitches.
YouTube's back up and running. I just had to make a Fox News joke, and now it's working.
All right. So Shane, we good? What are you doing? Oh, baby.
Twitch Fox. It's a super inside joke. No, Tiff does not watch Fox News.
Danny, what's going on, man?
Tiff does not really watch Fox News. That's a very inside joke between the three of us.
Well, to keep it under time and to make everyone on the inside of the joke, which is just the show.
See, did there.
So we're going to talk a little bit about some movies because there's not a whole lot going on in the video game realm other than me personally playing Resident Evil 7 on the PSVR, as I mentioned downstairs.
How do we
scary as shit?
How do we set up a camera and stream that while you're like screaming, playing?
I think we can, but like I will say this: for the first night I was playing Resident Evil 7, right? It's like it sets you up, and spoiler alert, I'm going to tell a little bit. It's the first 5-10 minutes of the game, but you're basically going to this dilapidated house in like Louisiana because your girlfriend got like kidnapped, and you're like looking for your girlfriend, right? Of course, right? Of course. And you get there, and she's like, "You shouldn't have come. What are you doing? You shouldn't have come here." And then she starts going fucking bonkers, man. She's going crazy. And you're like, why is my girlfriend going so crazy? And then finally you get a gun. You kill your girlfriend in the first 10 minutes. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm going to want to do this, but it's Resident Evil, so I guess I have to. I made a moral decision. And then I feel, hey, it's time for bed. And it's Tiff like touching my arm. And I'm like, yeah, we're done. We're done for the day. We're done with this. So it throws you in the deep end.
You had to murder someone, then all of a sudden you felt a hand touching you. In real life, you're like, holy shit.
The worst is when the cats jump up on your lap. And you're like, no shit.
It's a real life jump scare.
It's a real life jump scare. So Resident Evil 7 is amazing. If you have the chance to play it in VR, I really dig it. It's been a lot of fun. It's incredibly scary. But let's jump into some movie news. One of the first things I want to get out of the way is Entertainment Weekly, I believe, right?
Yeah,
all the Black Panther pictures.
Has everything.
So they had a big kind of cool expose on Black Panther, which looks amazing. But that's like it's a 2018 movie.
Yeah, February.
And something that you brought up, which is interesting, is Thor Ragnarok is coming out before it. But it seems like Marvel's really giving a lot more love to Black Panther.
Yeah, because it's November. Because Justice League is October.
Yeah.
So if Justice League really sucks, then you can watch Thor. before you watch Star Wars, because we all know Star Wars is going to be the best movie of 2018.
Hands down, of course.
Hands down.
No,
we
Are
already,
you doubting it?
We already
bias
know.
here, guys.
Yeah, come on, man.
we already know. I'm
What
making a list of.
What would you say is the best movie of 2017? What is your estimation then? What's your guess?
Spider-Man.
Oh.
It was
All right,
Which
either
we're gonna
one
get
of you
to.
seen Baby Driver yet?
pretty good.
No.
Man,
Me too.
so I starting to make a list of things that I've actually went to the theater and seen. Top favorite movies 2017.
It's Resident Evil. It's VR.
Yeah, VR.
Yeah.
So Star Wars is already on the list at number 1, even though it comes out in December, because I know that's just number 1 movie. And then Baby Driver would be right underneath that. Baby Driver is outstanding.
It was actually Transformers.
Oh,
Transformers, yeah, there it is.
Or as Danny posted, he's like, "Excuse me, Enjoy the movie," or emoji. I keep calling it Enjoy.
That's
I
like
keep calling it that. I called it that last week. I'm just the emoji.
movie.
Well, you know
Emoji
why?
movie.
Because Enjoy makes more sense than the word emoji.
True.
Emoji's a weird word.
Enjoy
say
sounds
it
like,
over and over again. Say
I
it.
have been.
It's
Wanna know
weird.
Why?
Why?
This is a little fun fact. My studio, White Unicorn Agency, we just sponsored the unicorn emoji. Like, you can sponsor an emoji. Did you know that?
How does that work?
on what, like on iOS?
It's on across the platform because it's called like a hexacode or something. It's whatever developers use whenever they actually want to like put them on the websites and
Oh,
stuff.
so like on Twitter, you booted Unicorn.
Yeah, each
puts
one
those
though.
on there.
Each one has their own like PNG for it. So like,
Good Lord,
Facebook,
how much does
Twitter,
that cost?
It's like $5,000 for a year or something. I don't know. But it's,
Per platform or
no, just globally.
We need.
Oh man, we need a RedBeard.
We need to find a RedBeard emoji sponsor right now. Let's get on
Start
it.
the Patreon. We can send Polaroids of you and your beard.
Enjoy is the
Get
name
it
of
in
his
there.
dominatrix.
Well, and I thought about using.
I love it.
That's the sequel.
It's like the sequel to a emoji movie is Enjoy.
Enjoy the
dominatrix.
I tried buying the eggplant emoji for you, but it was already taken. So.
That was done.
Yeah, there it
Well, I mean, it's accurate.
Yeah, because you love eggplant.
I love eggplant. They're healthy. They're good for your skin,
You're a big.
and they just feel fantastic. They just feel great.
It's better than avocados. You like eggplants.
The avocados are just like, I mean, like
It's bullshit. You want
ironically,
eggplant.
You know what's funny is they should be called the opposite. Like an avocado really kind of looks more like an eggplant
Yeah.
than an eggplant does.
Now we're looking at the.
They look
the
like
textual,
eggs.
Yeah.
Like if you were
True,
to
if
shove
you're
one
looking at
up
it that way.
straight up the pooper, I would rather have an avocado. But you would think, man, I would rather have an eggplant because it's like egg. It's like I know it can come back out. It's just
True.
nature. That's just nature.
You would think.
Follow me on this journey, fellas. Come on, like you guys are both looking at me like I'm crazy.
We're going back to Ron German territory from a couple weeks ago.
Moving forward from Sonic the Hedgehog.
In Asplay Nation.
And Asplanation.
That's when we talk about
Hashtag
video games.
Asplanation. So, but like, the Black Panther pictures came out. They look great. The movie looks amazing. I've actually been reading the comics, like, because they re-release it. Marvel's really good about releasing, coming out with comics or a line that they know that it's going to be like a new franchise in the hopes that people like me who never read Black Panther back in the day are like, oh, cool, there's a new series. There's a new run of it, so I'll pick those up.
Pick it up.
Yeah, so a lot of the characters that are going to be in the movie, from what it looks like, are a lot of the same characters that like are in the series. But there's a lot of like really big name actors that are in there. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting is Forrest Whitaker. Forrest Whitaker is making all kinds of Disney money, right? So I wonder, because they do this a lot. Like they do a lot of crossover where you have a character that's already kind of locked into a Disney, like, or a Star Wars contract, ends up in like the Marvel universe. So you have like Forrest Whitaker, who was in Rogue One, and like this is his next movie is going to be Black Panther.
Yeah, you can sign
unless
a
you do
2 or
one between.
3 picture Disney deal
And then
and
just
put you somewhere.
put you
in there.
wherever, yeah.
Yeah, pop them in there. Why not?
I mean, another good example is K2SO, who's played by
well,
Alan Tudyk.
and 2 Dong Lover is in.
Yeah.
Dong Lover's in Han Solo and
Donald Glover,
and
yeah,
Spider-Man.
he's in Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and
so if he signed a deal.
So back, like, kind of going back to what we were talking about like how Black Panther, they're doing a new run and they're kind of getting people more acclimated to it and stuff like that. You have the Prowler is a character in the Amazing Spider-Man currently, and it's kind of an Easter egg. But Donald Glover in Spider-Man: Homecoming is the character who eventually becomes the Prowler, who is
Right.
also Miles Morales' uncle. and it was kind of like a tease, which everyone kind of knew before the movie. And because, trailers and too much information kind of spoil things as opposed to finding about them afterwards.
Surprise.
But yeah. But I don't know. What do you think, man? I don't know if you're a huge Black Panther fan. I know it's going to be a real big hit. It makes sense to have movies that are like for broader and bigger audiences. Wonder Woman did great because it was like one of the first.
It makes sense.
Heroes.
It shows it's been 10, 15 years of Marvel movies
now
so far for MCU, to where they're so evolved and so far along that you can pull characters that you wouldn't expect that would have movies, like Guardians of the Galaxy. Whoever thought a raccoon or a talking tree would be popular?
Yeah,
we're already going to have 5 versions, of this movie by the time we're done, between both the Avengers movies and all 3 of the Guardians of the Galaxies.
Yeah,
and then to have Black Panther. Why not? It all ties in together.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Spider-Man changed all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
By the way, if you've not seen Spider-Man yet, turn off the show because we're about to talk about the whole movie.
We're going to talk a little bit about.
There's going to be so many spoilers.
Give us 10 or 15 minutes. Stick with us. We'll give you another warning.
We'll talk about Wonder Woman first.
We're going to talk about Wonder Woman and I want to talk about my Guardian theory.
Let's do your Guardians right now.
Speaking of Guardians,
we teased it.
Okay.
On the Facebook Live.
So we were talking. Yeah, we're talking a little bit about this. So picture this: I am sitting in a bar. It is a classic, dark, kind of awesome, seedy bar in El Paso, right? Like some of the walls are just like, total mirrors. It was a place that my father-in-law took us. I loved it. It was awesome. Every place that I went in El Paso was fucking cool as shit. But this place was so awesome that I guess it was either a regular or I think it was one of the bartenders that was just up there on her day off. And, they have those apps that you can play music on, like the touchscreen things, but you can just pick your songs and you can buy credits and then you can just put it to there as opposed to like putting money in the machine.
Right.
And every song she was playing, and Tiff can attest to this.
I'm shocked that it had the technology based off the picture you showed me what the bar looks like.
Yeah, I know.
It's just a brick building that says bar on it.
Yeah. That place had one too. The last roundup had one of those touch things. Because they want those machines in every bar because they pay for themselves after like a month.
Right.
Even if it's a slow bar, like they pay for themselves and then they just make revenue. So this woman was picking all of these amazing songs from like the 60s and like the 70s and a lot of ones that like I didn't know, but you can like I've heard before in passing and you can kind of clearly tell that like, oh, this is like a classic song. I look over to Tiff. I'm like, this lady is picking the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 soundtrack right now. And like, mind you, I had a cigar earlier. I was feeling good. I was a couple drinks in. So I'm just like the creative juices. I was channeling my inner James Gunn.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I was channeling my gun, but my James Gunn, not like a violent gun.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so this is my theory, and I wrote it in a multi-part piece on Twitter. It was really good. If you don't follow me on Twitter, it's at RedBeard Captain. You can go back and check it, but it was a really good thread. So this is my concept, right? The opening for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Haven't gotten that far yet, all right? So Groot is taken by the Nova Corps. Teenage Groot, angsty Groot. And he's in prison, right? And he's all anti-establishment. He was probably doing some tree-like graffiti on the wall of a Nova Corps building. But the Guardians, they have to go on this mission, this like really important mission that maybe spawns off of the end of Infinity War or whatever happens. But it's like a total forest planet where Groot can have absolute control and he can get in. So they have to go against the Nova Corps and they got to break Groot out. So they bust in there and they get in. And all of us, they're like, we got to get you out. Come on, Groot. And he goes, I'm Groot. And he rolls over and he shrugs off the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'll spend my time in prison, says Groot. I'm Groot. I'm an angsty teenage tree. Rolls over.
Grow some leaves.
And grow some leaves. And Peter Quill is like, we don't have time for this. What's going on? We got to get him out. And he puts his headphones on because he's like, I'm done. Rocket, come on, get Groot. And so Rocket at the very beginning of the movie, because that's what builds up all of the entirety of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, is that Rocket just purposely kind of distances himself or makes himself kind of an asshole because he doesn't want to really have a real connection. But the character he's been with the most is Groot. And this is the character he's been watching grow and he's kind of been raising. It's like Rocket is to Groot as Peter Quill has...
I thought you were going to do a Han Solo Chewbacca.
No. Like Peter Quill's father, like his father type figure is...
Michael Rooker.
Yondu.
Yondu.
He has Mary Poppins. Same kind of reaction. So Rocket has to like really break down his level. He's like, listen, man, Groot, we need you. and he kind of slowly turns the other way, and he goes, "I'm Groot. We gotta get you out." Boom, and he's like, "Okay," and they break out. Boom, opening of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. There's some kind of cool 60s, 70s music that I heard in a bar in El Paso, and then it just starts. Tell me that's not a bad opening to Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
I liked it. And then,
Right?
and then it
See?
ends, we are Groot.
We are Groot. That's good. Shane.
Yeah, there you go.
Co-writing from Shane. Like, he's like, when he
co-writer.
commits, he's like, "We are Groot." And it's the first time you hear him say that since the end of the first movie. And it brings things full circle.
you go.
James Gunn, you can call me, fam. Call me, man. Let me know.
That's
At
all you
RedBeard
get for
Captain on
free.
Twitter. That's all you get for free. I'll help you write the rest. But I got all kinds of ideas. I love your movies. They're really good. But
Lock it
come
up.
on.
Cigar-
Lock it up.
Cigars and booze, and
Cigars and booze. That
can
we
write
can
this script.
James Gunn, we can hang out. James Gunn loves animals. I love animals. We can hang out, have a couple drinks, smoke some cigars, and just like pet weird animals, and hang out with
Yeah.
cats.
Weird animal.
Yeah,
He's,
man.
what's
It's awesome.
what's his dog's name? Damn it, he takes a dog everywhere on all the sets. Whatever.
Yeah,
You'll bond.
that was
He has a
we'll bond,
raccoon,
bond.
too.
Yeah, so that would be
That'll
awesome. That's my concept for Guardians 3. I think it's a fun, really good idea. But that's just me because I came up with it. So
This says not to rain on the great idea, but isn't that kind of the plot of the new Guardians ride in Disneyland?
God damn it, is it?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Are they breaking Groot out of prison? There might be an escape.
Shit, I don't know. We got to look that up.
Maybe
now.
they wrote the ride, so it could be the beginning of Guardians 3.
Nah, I gotta
Oh, well.
look that up, I guess.
Well, we'll look it up and see.
He's like, damn it.
He's like, yeah. Well, I mean,
Do you
if,
like
any-
to
if-
pet weird animals?
if anything, what that means is I have Disney caliber ideas, friends.
We'll ha-
Disney caliber ideas.
We'll have to check and see.
All I know
we'll,
is that
we'll
the
do
ride
some
is-
research for next week.
It's the Twilight Zone ride with Guardians of the Galaxy. That's all you really need to know as far as the plot goes.
You saw commercials.
Yeah, what
somewhere
kind
and
of
it's
story
shit.
is that if you just go up and down in the ride like
Well,
Twilight
I mean, I
Zone?
think there's I think what they did is too is you get like a little animatronic like rocket who hangs out kind of like on Star Tours. Like you walk in and there's like C-3PO and stuff hanging out. It's
Right,
like,
R2.
welcome here, man. This is great.
Maybe that's what he says. You have to get on the ride to break out Groot.
Who knows?
I don't
Maybe that's a segue. So
Maybe.
I hope not.
Don't be defeated yet.
I'm not going to be defeated
James
yet.
Gunn could still want to call
Not
you.
until Disney proves me wrong and sends me to Disneyland to go on this ride.
Let's fucking do it. That's right.
Let's do it. We'll do all kinds of recordings for RedBeard Live. We'll get Disney. That's so much fun. That was the best. All right, so that's my Guardians idea. What else we got on the docket? We got Wonder Woman 2. What do we know?
Did you see your comments in here about Akon, Shane?
What?
It's not letting me scroll up. Scroll up on your side. There was some
Oh,
Akon
cool. Tap
stuff in there
Fizzle.
for you.
Oh, thanks, Tab Fizzle.
It's all the Akon stuff. Thanks, man. I still have like 20 more shoots to edit.
we
I'm
go.
slacking so bad.
Well, that's because you're getting bogged down with a lot of your photography, man. You're blowing up, bro.
That is true.
Get
Sorry,
you-
I'm not
get
slacking.
to be the
I'm just
most
extremely busy.
What was it? What did you say earlier? The busiest photographer in all of North
North
America.
America,
all of North America.
the
All
best
of
and well known. Yeah,
Soon to take over both Americas in
Yep.
2020.
whether you're like, is that Roxy Studios?
Is that the Roxy Studios? Who's that fine mother? Shut your mouth. That's just Roxy Studios.
Oh man, that's great.
Just go to BlizzCon and it's across the street, yeah.
I would love to go to.
Oh, there you go.
BlizzCon.
Tap Fizzle's got your room already locked down,
Man,
bro.
your room's already booked.
Dude, BlizzCon, we got it.
Oh, sweet.
You got room. You got room
Where you
for
go.
a bearded fella and
You can't
Mike.
put it in an internet chat room unless it's real. So
I
it's
know.
That's
happening.
right. It's on the internet.
It's happening now.
Not hashtag not fake news.
I had-
Not fake
if
news.
it's on the internet. It's
Next
true.
topic. Next topic. Wonder Woman 2. That's the thing now, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
well,
it's been rumored.
It's a rumored
It's a
thing.
rumor. Okay.
Yes, that it takes place in the 80s during the end of the Cold War,
Yeah.
which
Which would be fitting because that's when the TV show took place.
right, well,
So
also
it
it keeps
Oh,
her
sorry.
out of any direct tie to any Justice League or anything afterwards because
Literally
it's still
anything,
it's
yeah.
still in the past.
Yeah.
So Wonder Woman 2 does not affect what would currently be going on after Justice League is over, and you're not tied to like any storyline that way.
Yeah.
You don't have to follow
It's in
what
the
the
same
Earth happened if Superman's evil, what she had to do. You can just still go back.
in the same vein that's what made the first movie successful is that it was a standalone, and the only thing that really tied it in was the very beginning of the end of Wonder Woman ties it in to Batman vs Superman, and then now Justice League. So it makes the most sense. I don't know. Would you see that?
I
An
totally
80s
see it.
Wonder Woman, as long as she does the spin, right? Wonder Woman.
Well, she has to have the spin in the jet,
Yeah.
or we're just.
Yeah,
Do you
where does the
think-
jet come in?
Do you
That's
think they
what I'm
would?
trying
Do you
to
think
So
they would?
the jet was from the cartoon show,
figure out.
and then like later on, years later on the
They just, like,
Justice League
killed it.
cartoon show, she can fly like Superman.
Yeah,
So
I was
it
like,
all,
wait, well, okay.
It all depends which version that you watch.
that confused me for a bit.
Well, she doesn't fly in the other one because she's just an Amazonian.
Yeah.
But maybe she
She can just like jump real far, like in
Yeah.
the first
I mean,
movie.
like with the fact that the first movie really embraced that, like they're Amazons. She is born of Zeus. She was sculpted out of clay, and she was made in real. Like, it's not out of the realm to make an invisible jet a little believable. Like, I believed Wonder Woman. I believed in the Amazons. That was
or
that
just
was
make it
legit.
that to where she can fly. Maybe she flies in the Justice League movie.
Yeah.
Or is it gonna be like
mean-
tech? Like, I mean, not to give spoilers just yet, but in Homecoming they have stuff that flies invisibly.
Well, it's like the
don't know
Klingon.
if it's a
It's like the
spoiler or
Klingon.
not.
It's the Klingon
No.
cloaking device. If you've
Yeah,
ever watched
it's
Star
cloaking.
Trek in the
It's not-
past
It's not true.
20
invisibility.
years, that's
It's just a
not-
high tech camera system, basically.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not any spoilers.
I mean, yeah, no spoilers.
I would prefer that she just could fly.
Yeah,
like
That would be
Superman,
better if
as
she could fly
opposed to
because it would be
invisible
really
jet.
awkward if like Wonder Woman is just like.
Because where does
She's
the tech
sitting-
come from this invisible jet? I'd
And, like,
rather her just fly.
Why is there a floating sitting woman?
Right.
Yeah, I never
Exactly.
understood that either. Like, how do they not see her?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you watch the old cartoon shows, there's
You
just
see
her
her?
in a chair.
It's just her in a chair, bro.
Floating.
What the hell? Okay.
Yeah.
The plane is see through, not
Gotcha.
Wonder Woman.
Is this was it the Krusty Krab or SpongeBob with the guy with the car, the Barnacle Boy and stuff?
Yeah.
See through flying ship
Yeah.
from Spider-Man. There it is. I was like, what the
Gotta
fuck are you talking
try-
about?
I was trying not to like get
Try not to give it away. Chris is thinking in his brain, what is... Oh, yeah, it's this through shit.
There's a plane in the movie that's like invisible, kind of.
Yeah,
It's Stark technology.
cloaking.
It
whatever.
it just cloaks itself.
Yeah.
It's
That's what
like
I'm
a
saying.
stealth bomber.
Yeah.
So if all we know from Wonder Woman 2 is that it's a rumor, that's all we got, right?
Right, that's all we have because Patty Jenkins said after the first one was over that she wanted to take her further into the future. But, I mean, you're in World War I, so...
You got to make
Move
a
up
jump,
to-
and
yeah.
then as Tab Fizzle says,
Move
she's
up to the
invisible
80s.
inside, right? She's not invisible inside. Like in the cartoons, you can always see her. But let's get past
Maybe
the
more because it was a
invisible jet.
cartoon, so like the kid didn't. So as a kid, you didn't just see it flying because it was an outline of a jet
Yeah.
with little white lines, and she was sitting in the cockpit.
It's just kind of a silly
in
idea.
reality. Yeah. I mean, if Zack Snyder made Wonder Woman 2, then maybe it's an invisible jet that had rockets and had lasers and
Yeah.
torpedoes.
But there's
and
but
everything
as we know, Zack Snyder has already stepped away. I mean, he's probably going to be helping write like whenever he wants to get back to work and help produce stuff. But I have like after Wonder Woman, man, I have a lot of faith for the DC universe because Justice League is now being directed and finished by Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon is then going to do a Batgirl standalone, which seems like it's
Right.
going to turn out
At
really
some
great.
point.
The director who is making the Batman just finished War of the Planet of the Apes, which is getting phenomenal reviews. I mean, like they let people go and view it, screen it like a month early, like this past month.
That's
you
you know when you have confidence in your movie.
when you got confidence in your movie, you're letting people see it that early. I mean, a lot of the reviews I'm seeing, and mind you, a lot of them are promoted by the company itself, but a lot of reviews are like, in all my years of like seeing films, like this is like some of the best filmmaking I've seen.
Everything, the visual effects. I mean, the CG on it is just stupid good. Like you would never even know that shit was fake. Like,
Yeah,
it's like wait,
except for the fact that we know that there's not speaking English.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like wait, how is that not? Real?
It's incredibly believable is the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited, man. I'm really excited for that one. Got to wait for the wife to come back into town before I can see it because I'm not going to.
When's it come out though?
Friday.
It's this weekend. Oh,
or,
shit.
or I guess technically tomorrow at like 8 o'clock.
Well,
be
today's
the first showing
Wednesday,
for
so it'll be
Thursday.
yeah, tomorrow.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
totally gonna go.
So yeah, really excited about that one. So super stoked about War of the Planet of the Apes. But yeah, the DC universe, man. Like the director who did War for the Planet of the Apes is making the Batman with Ben Affleck, and he's being really vocal about a lot of stuff. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's a detective movie." He's like, "I'm shooting for the kind of caliber that Chris Nolan did, but it's going to be more of a detective type of thing than just necessarily like a
Murdering
really
people.
crafty like yeah." Which I'm excited about. Like I think you put Ben Affleck with the right script and the right director, it's going to be great. So
Right.
it may be better than what we hoped with even him himself directing it. What do you think? You're the biggest Batman fan in the room.
It could be because what's the guy from Magic Mike and the werewolf from True Blood who's playing
Who's
Deathstroke?
Deathstroke, yeah, but there was a lot of
Joe
rumors.
something or other that like he's not
Handsome,
even sure.
we'll call him Handsome
yeah,
Joe.
Handsome Joe. Handsome Joe's not even sure if he's even still in the Batman movie or not because the original because Affleck was in it and the script all that was scrapped and they're starting over from scratch again.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know if he's in the movie. Or
Well,
not.
there's also Josh Gad from who plays Olaf. He's also
and that
in-
guy is the ultimate internet troll.
He's the ultimate internet troll. He's been alluding like he keeps going to like DC and like he takes pictures and like he tweets them out and it's like him holding like the Penguin comics like with like a Batman comic with the Penguin on the front of it. He's like had an awesome meeting in DC and he's holding comics with like the Penguin so everyone's like, holy shit, is Josh Gad going to be the Penguin?
The same way that Tyrese Gibson used to send out Photoshop pictures of himself as Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Would have
my
Green
God.
Lantern comics or wearing a Green Lantern T-shirt.
So-
Yeah, because he was desperately trying to be Green Lantern way back before Ron Reynolds.
Well, do you remember back years ago before Guardians 1 came out? You know, Vin Diesel was like, "Oh, man, went to Marvel." Had a great meeting, and
Oh, yeah.
everyone's like, "Who's he gonna be? Who's Vin Diesel gonna be?" And he's like, "He's the fucking talking tree."
Yeah, he's a tree. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Dude does the voice, which is fine because do we want to see Vin Diesel in a
Nope.
No.
movie?
Nope.
I mean,
No,
He
we're
was
good.
in the witch one. No, that wasn't bad.
The Last Witch Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not. He can be in good
Vin
movies.
Diesel makes just like not. What's the word am I trying? He's kind of like Pitbull, where it's like you're like, oh, everything is shit, but if a Pitbull song comes on the radio,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I kind of like this.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it's Vin Diesel. It's kind of like, don't overthink it. Just like if you've watched the honest trailer for Fast and Furious 8 today, basically it just talks about what it is.
Yeah.
You're just going for explosions. Don't look for character development. Don't look for things.
Explosions.
You're going to just see cars explode and trucks
Yeah.
explode.
And planes and
Yeah.
stuff with the ram.
but not invisible planes.
But not invisible.
yeah, real
No.
planes.
Real
'Cause you
planes.
need to see a real plane.
Just
explode.
like a runway that's 40
yeah,
miles
exactly.
long,
Like,
yeah.
The never-ending runway.
I think someone did the real math for as long as like the plane was taking off, and as long as that scene is, they're like that runway would literally be 25 miles long, and there's not a single runway in the world
That's not long.
that's a fraction of that even. It's kind of
It's
ridiculous.
a special hidden one.
Yeah,
It's like a Stark Enterprises hidden
Oh god.
yeah.
runway.
So I guess now's a good time to splash up the spoiler alert. We're going to talk about Spider-Man
Do we
Homecoming.
have a spoiler alert icon?
No, but I can do like a commercial break. We never ever use it. Commercial break.
Commercial break.
So pretend that it said instead of commercial, it
We're
says spoiler.
gonna talk about spoilers. Gonna talk about spoilers. Now we're back.
And we're back. After
And
this
we're
break.
back after that break, which
the
includes
spoiler
spoilers.
break.
So we'll talk a little bit about Spider-Man Homecoming, probably at length. So if you haven't seen it yet, go fucking see that movie.
It's so good.
Well, it's only been like a week,
Right.
so
But you should see it because
you
it's Spider-Man.
definitely should see it.
I'm just
So let's start
excited
with
about it.
Shane, because I know Mike at length you can talk all of these ideas and theories.
Absolutely.
But Shane, you are a big visual effects dude. What did you think?
Oh man, when Vulture like the first time he like got into his little wings, he's like,
Which happens like in the first 5 minutes of
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah.
Like it happens right away before the opening credits.
yeah, it was like sick. I was like, oh my god, this is fucking cool.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it was phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Ba-ba-ba-da-da, phenomenon.
Oh,
Da-da-da-da.
Yeah, it
A
was good.
Spider-Man. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Homecoming was good.
It was good. It was good. No, definitely, it was fucking awesome. Yeah, the visual effects were pretty dope. I love the integration of like the alien weapons and how it affects the city, and like we got this like street war going on with all these fucking alien tech and stuff, and they're just like blowing shit up like randomly. Hey, bro, you want to see this? Want to see? And it just like blows up a
Got
fucking
some
car.
got some alien tech,
And the
bruh.
dude's like, nah, I don't want to like blow a block away. I just want to like fuck some people up. That's it.
just want a normal gun.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great. It was.
That was
really
Dong Lover.
good. That was.
Yes.
Yeah, he just wanted
Donald
a normal gun.
Glover.
Donald
Donald
Glover.
Glover.
Dong Lover just wanted a normal gun.
Mike's
He
references
didn't
on
wanna
our
put it in
show
there.
are always very homoerotic. It's a
Hey,
fun.
that was his Twitter handle.
It was his
Dong
Twitter handle.
Lover.
Dong Lover.
So
was his
that's
Twitter-
what I'm saying.
It's
His
not
name is
anymore.
Dong Lover.
He changed it. He
So-
changed it.
Loves dongs. Whatever his Twitter handle is now.
Whatever floats your dong loving boat.
in the Han Solo movie, whatever his Twitter handle is now.
So
Are you waving to Wonder Woman in the invisible jet?
Yeah, basically.
it's really just Jen. In
No,
her,
it is.
in her invisible jet.
It's
Flat. She does not need a jet.
done at the bar.
So you loved it.
Oh yeah, no, it was great. I love the the plot development, the story. I was a little skeptical because everyone was like hyping it up, and I was like, it can't be this fucking good. Calm down,
Yeah.
guys. But no, I really liked it. I mean, it had like the fun, like you're an awkward teenage boy feel, and then like I was pissed off at my dad for a minute watching this movie, like all like the dad and father son tie-ins and stuff, and then like the whole twist thing at the end, which we'll go back to, I guess. It was good. It was
Yeah?
good. I enjoyed it visually, everything. It was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was wondering if there was gonna be a whole other like Gwen Stacy scene in the tower when like falling, and I was like, oh, shit, who's gonna
Yeah,
die?
kind of makes you think that, doesn't
Yeah, I
it?
was like, is someone about to die here? Like, this sucks.
It's like they did a lot of that, like a lot of fan service. That's kind of like a nod
yeah,
to like other movies and especially scenes. Like there's a scene where, he's got some rubble he's buried kind of underneath some stuff. Try to keep it spoiler-ish free.
That was pretty hardcore.
But it's a very
if
iconic.
you're watching at
very
this point,
iconic
you're going to
scene.
hear a lot of spoilers.
Yeah, it's a very iconic scene in the comics where he just has to he mauls up all of his strength because a building is on top of him, and he's like, "No, I gotta get out of here. No one's gonna help me. I gotta Spider-Man up."
It's the turning point of the movie where he has to decide: does he want to be Peter Parker? Does he want to be
Is
Spider-Man?
he a Spider Boy or is he a Spider-Man?
Which is it? Because when you get to the end, when he goes to see Tony Stark and he's got the Iron Spider suit for him and the whole deal, and he's like, "Cool, you're dropping out of school and you're just gonna come live here now."
Yeah.
And you're living next to Vision.
Yeah.
Because that's all he wanted. He told his friend, he's like, "Oh yeah, they're moving upstate, so I'm beyond high school."
Yeah.
And then he got his shit knocked out, and then he had to realize that maybe he's not ready
Yeah.
to be all the way yet, and that he'll stick to the ground.
Yeah, he'll stay as a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of
Until they come and pick him up to take him to outer space in
the next movie.
Infinity War.
Well, and that's kind of what it seems like they're setting these movies up, and that's what makes I feel Homecoming so unique is that it stays true that he's a kid, he goes to school, he's Spider-Man. He wants to be something so much more, and he gets those opportunities. Like in Avengers, they need him. Like he's going to have a certain set of skills, and they're going to need him to fight Thanos and to fight these kind of extraterrestrial beings.
Web him up.
But it was excellent. What did you think, Mike?
Yeah, I thought it was outstanding. I loved the beginning where they were doing the back and forth between Civil War, when he was doing his whole little video vlog on his phone
good.
all the way up until in the car with Tony, and then it switches to the main camera.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's how
when
the movie starts.
Yeah, when he just pushes him out of the car, and he's like, "Yeah, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
I'm just opening the door for you."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic. The
Yeah.
whole movie was great.
What are some of your favorite parts?
There's so many to choose from. The beginning, like Shane said, with Vulture. Everything makes sense because we don't need a ton of backstory. He's walking down the street, and he's like, "I got bit by a spider," and his friend's like, "Holy shit!" He's like, "The spider's dead." And that's just
when he's
it.
talking to Ned, it's such a not origin story because we don't need it again. That it in that scene, it comments on the fact that they don't need another origin story.
Right.
Even by him saying the spider's dead, Ned. It's dead. That's he's like, that story's dead. It doesn't need to be. They did 30 seconds. They touched on it and they moved forward.
We didn't see Uncle Ben die for the 6th time.
Yeah.
I don't think they even mentioned his name.
All they mentioned was that everything that Aunt May went through.
Yeah.
And as you know, Uncle Ben was murdered. Maybe they'll touch on it on the second one, but we don't need to see that all over again because he's already been introduced in Civil War. So we don't need a whole origin story. We don't need him being bit by the spider.
To the point where it's a different kind of Spider-Man, though, and that's what they did. They set it up where his powers and his abilities and his suit, all of these things, are gifted to him by Tony Stark, which is why he wants to be an Avenger so much, which is what pulls him in. Because in the comics, he was part of the Fantastic Four, he was in the Avengers, back and forth, but by and large, he was always his own independent character. Where this movie, it starts with him wanting to be part of something bigger, and him learning his own independence and him learning that he can be himself. He can be in his own friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And that's what I loved the most about this movie is that it felt in the pacing, it felt like a part of the grander picture, but he was an outsider. He was kind of outcast. He was a teenager. And it felt true to that.
And they've never cast him that young, right? I mean, in general.
No. I mean, look. Tobey Maguire was fucking 80 when that movie was made. He was literally in his 30s.
Yeah.
I remember reading an interview that someone was like, "What was the hardest part about making the Spider-Man movies?" And Tobey Maguire was shaving 5 times a day because they'd do a close-up shot and he'd have stubble because he's an adult man.
Yeah.
And then you have Andrew Garfield, which he's almost 30. He's late in his 20s, definitely not 18 or 17. Or 16, because I think he's 17 in this movie. He's
he's 15.
15.
He's 15, yeah. He's super young.
Because when Tony lands and he's yelling at him, he's like, what are you, 14? He's like, no, I'm 15. He's like, that's not the point. And he's like, Tony's yelling at him about the whole dynamic of Tony was Tony had to become the dad.
Well,
and even made the remark of I'm gonna break the cycle and I'm gonna give you positive reinforcement, unlike how Howard just would yell at Tony all the time.
Yeah,
I was like, "You're still a dick, bro."
And then he's not in a normal high school. He's in a tech school. He's in an advanced.
It's
school.
a STEM school, yeah.
So it makes more sense that Flash is not the football jock. He's the chess club.
Which is what was great. It's what my biggest takeaway too that I posted on Facebook right after I saw it is that it is the most accurate Peter Parker that I've seen.
Yeah.
But all of the supporting cast, they really flipped it on its head to make it fit into a more modern setting, and I was more than okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
I was 100% bought in with everything. I thought that was great.
Yeah. I even liked how it's not Mary Jane. It's just MJ.
Yeah, which is a big spoiler. Like I was, Frankie came over to the house, our good friend Frankie, and we were talking about the movie. And there's a big revelation where at the end it's like it's kind of an Easter egg where it's like, oh well, my name's Michelle, but my friends call me MJ. And he's like, you don't have any friends? He's like, well, I do now, kind of thing. And they even said Marvel even came out and said where it's like, well, yes, it's an MJ, but it's not Mary Jane Watson. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
We don't
Right.
have to tell the same tried and true story because they already didn't by presenting him in Civil War. They don't need to delve in. They don't need to rehash everything. Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, it's like fresh, but it's still kind of the same. It's like true to its origins, but different.
But yeah, it's kind of like Marvel's very good at picking their battles, and they're good at like picking like what do we stay true to, with having the ability to change things up and making it new, which I loved. I loved it.
Yeah.
Hands down.
It fit. You see that Tony and Pepper are back together again.
Yeah.
That's because that was the Iron Man 3. It was Civil War when he was doing the speech, and they were like, oh, Pepper's not here, and they broke up. Well, they're clearly back together again.
Yeah.
Because Happy is still carrying the engagement ring from 2008
Yeah.
in his coat. Because
Yeah.
Happy's the goddamn best.
Cappy is the best.
He's
You're
the
my
best.
happy Mike.
I don't think he needs his own movie, but he definitely needs to be
Oh, he was
featured
a dick in this movie.
in a
though.
lot of
I
movies.
was like,
But he was it's funny because I think Happy is a representation. He's like kind of the yin to Peter's yang, where like Happy's like, I'm more involved. I've been here. I'm an adult kid. Like you can be my point of contact, but he's also like he's not an Avenger.
yeah.
He's not part of that dynamic, but he's been there since the very first movie. Fuck yeah. Happy directed the first Avengers movie. He
Happy's
directed
more-
Iron Man 1.
Happy and 2.
And 2.
Happy's more of like, you're just the neighborhood Spider-Man. Calm your shit down. Like, if we need you, we need you. Don't call me every day. I have other shit to do. I have grown-up shit to do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Leave
but the
me
thing I did like though
alone.
was like with the whole dad aspect. Like he wasn't even listening to him. He was like, "Hey, no, there's alien fucking weapons." He was like,
Because
"Yeah, go away."
he's not the dad. Tony's the dad.
Yeah. Well, but he was still
Happy's
blowing him
like
off,
the
though.
Yeah.
like the big brother or the uncle that like doesn't have time for the kid.
Yeah, I don't got time for this shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony's the dad.
No one has time for Spider-Man until Spider-Man makes
and there's
the
like
time.
6 villains in the movie. There's tons of Easter eggs all over the place.
Shocker.
And there's 2 shockers.
Tinker. Yeah, 2 shockers. You get the
Tinkler, Prowler,
Tinkler.
Scorpion. And
Scorpion.
Then,
Where was
yes,
At the very end.
Scorpion's in the mid-credit scene. So Scorpion is on the boat, the ferry, when they're buying the weapons. He gets kicked off the side, gets arrested. Then the mid-credit scene,
Who's in the
when he
prison.
stops to talk to Vulture, and he was like, I've got friends on the outside, and we're going to cut his head off, and we'll put it in a dryer. You know who he is. That's Scorpion. So they're already setting up
How do
Sinister.
you know?
They're
Yeah,
setting up
tattoo.
Sinister Six. Well, he's got a big Scorpion tattoo on his neck, but
Oh.
his character's name is the name of Scorpion.
I did not catch
in the
that.
book.
So I mean, maybe that's going to be the villain in the next movie is a Scorpion because they haven't done that.
They have like
in
a
any of
wide
them.
variety.
And I don't know what they're going to do though. Like this is a big conversation that I had yesterday. Frankie came by, which I wish I would have recorded that and just been like, this is another good one. But we talked a lot about
Drunk uncle forced to babysit. There you go.
he's a drunk uncle forced to babysit.
Yeah.
That's who Happy is for sure. But we had a really good conversation about like where it lies with Sony versus Marvel because the big thing with Sony is, and you've seen the interview, whereas like the producer from Sony's side is like, oh yeah, we're gonna make a Venom and Carnage movie. We're making Black and Silver, and like Tom Holland's character Spider-Man, it's gonna be that universe. He's from that universe. And Marvel's like, hold the phone. We don't think so because Sony still has the rights to Spider-Man. They can do whatever, but they can't use Tom Holland as their Spider-Man. Because if they make a Venom movie as they are, and Tom Hardy is Venom, if Tom Holland is in that movie, that by default brings Tom Hardy's Venom as part of the MCU. Right?
Oh, God, yeah.
Because he's the bridge. Like Tom Holland is the bridge. So like if they're making Spider-Man-esque movies and Sony wants it to be Tom Holland Spider-Man then enemies and they want him to be in the movies, that then makes those movies MCU movies. Which Marvel is kind of like I don't know. Anyways, long story short, the solution that Frankie and I came to, the party that needs to roll over on this is Sony. They need to be like, okay,
Just roll with it.
we'd like to do this. We want to make as many movies as we can because we made more money splitting it with the Marvel Universe Spider-Man than we would have making an Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
So knowing that, or even if it's like a fraction of what they could have made, the fact that they can keep making them and keep being profitable, they need to be like, hey, we'd like to introduce these characters. We're going to give you the rights to them if you would like us to use them too. So like, let us do a Venom movie on our own that's a side part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but let us use Tom Holland. But at that point, Sony has to roll over and be okay with Marvel being like, cool, we get final rights on who it's going to be. We get final rights on the script. We get to say everything. We also get to approve everything if you're going to do it, if this is going to be part of it. And who knows, man? Because like the options are limitless. Seeing how much money they're making with the Spider-Man Homecoming and how successful and how well received it is. I mean, it's almost like a Rotten Tomatoes score almost is as important, I feel, in modern movie making as like how much money it makes.
Yeah.
Because you look at DC and they've had a trend of like, garbage movies that like are rated very low, and then they get Wonder Woman, like their highest rated one since the Christopher Nolan ones, and now they're like, oh well, we need Joss Whedon and we need better directors and we need to care. Because that's what's gonna.
We need to care.
We need to care, and so that's the solution that we came to, is that Sony needs to roll over and be like, okay, we'll do the Venom movie when you give us the okay. Because can you imagine, like, the possibilities are so much there for the Infinity War to happen, and that's how the symbiote comes from space.
That's what should happen. Spider-Man will be in space, and it makes sense that he brings it back with him. But
Man,
all this,
fuck you, take
so
them
for like
home.
Spider-Man Homecoming, all the profits, it's free money for Sony. Like they get all of that. Marvel gets back their budget and their advertising, and everything else on top of that is all Sony's. It's like there's free money.
Is that how their agreement works?
Yeah, that's how it works. So the $175 million budget that they put up, Marvel will get back what they put into it, and then their advertising budget, and then everything else goes to Sony because Sony has the rights to
they have
Spider-Man.
some kind of agreement.
They have to make some of that money.
That's the split deal.
It's got to be at least like a 20-80 or something. Because if Marvel's putting up the money for the advertising,
that's what the Sony deal said it was, that's free money for them, and that's why they agreed to do it.
Really?
To add it in together with it.
Well, then Sony needs to be the one that rolls over and lets them do that, because Marvel's going to be like, they're not going to advertise for it.
I mean, it wouldn't work to where how they put Spider-Man Infinity War. Like, that would still be Marvel's.
Yeah.
But to use it for this Homecoming one. I mean, you could do the Venom movies and stuff, treat it like the Netflix TV shows, that they're in the universe, they're just not a part of the movie.
Yeah.
Even though it's a theatrical release, and it would be weird that they could reference Spider-Man, maybe show a picture of Spider-Man like in the newspaper.
Shit, man, I just hope Marvel somehow nods to it, and it's like because that was my biggest problem with Spider-Man 3, the one that Sam Raimi did, that had the crappy Venom,
where Sony forced him to use Venom and Sam Raimi didn't want to,
right? Because he wanted to do the Vulture.
Shoehorned him in there.
Yeah, and they shoehorned him in there. But what was really frustrating is that J. Jonah Jameson's son in the comics was an astronaut, and you know this because you're a huge Venom and Carnage fan, and that's how the symbiote comes to Earth, and like Spider-Man saves the ship, and the symbiote's like attached to the ship, so it comes from space, and I'm like, why couldn't that have been the plot of Spider-Man 3? Like, it's not that outrageous.
Well, it's because Sam Raimi didn't want to do a Venom movie.
Anyways,
if he wanted to, then maybe it could have been.
But instead, it was like
I mean, they got as close as you could because the Fantastic Four are not involved, and so he hits all the pipes around and does the Sonic thing to get it to come off, because obviously you need Reed Richards to actually make the Sonic gun to get it to come off of Peter to jump onto Eddie.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen either.
But yeah, who knows? But it could be anything. It could be that they come to an agreement. Like we live in the Wild West of movies. As it is, I think the irony is that as it is, like they're not bickering so much. They're just working through things, but very publicly. Yeah. Because people are so aware of how of everything that happens, or at least we get glimpses, kind of behind the curtain. But as it stands, we will have 6 Tom Holland as Spider-Man movies.
Jesus. Really?
Yeah.
Well, 6 appearances.
6 appearances.
Oh, okay.
But no, but you're gonna get. You have Civil War. You have Spider-Man: Homecoming. Yep. You have the Avengers: Infinity War.
Oh, okay.
You have Homecoming 2, or whatever it's going to be called.
Gotcha.
And then he's going to be in the follow-up to Infinity War, and then they're going to do a third Spider-Man: Homecoming movie. That's 6.
That's why you cast him so young, so he can work.
He can
work for 10 years and do movies.
Yeah.
Because the rumor is with Infinity War, which I don't think it's a surprise to anybody, that Captain America is going to die.
You think so?
Because all the contracts for all these guys are up, and that when Infinity War ends, that's the end of like that chapter.
Yeah,
and
they're gonna introduce new. Like I think this is gonna be the end of the Thor movies.
When the new Spider-Man, the second Spider-Man starts, it picks up the fallout from Infinity War, and then it goes forward to, Doctor Strange or Black Panther or other different sub-characters.
And my theory, depending on how Sony and Marvel work together, is they introduce Donald Glover's character, and he's the Prowler in the comics. So Sony doesn't own the Prowler, and they can be like, cool, well, that's the Prowler. And Sony, I don't think, owns Miles Morales, because Miles Morales was created after Sony bought the rights to Spider-Man. So they can have Miles Morales and not call him Spider-Man, and they can still have their own Spider-Man. By introducing
call him Arachnid Man?
It's Arachnid Boy.
Oh
I mean, that's where the weird part comes in, because the same way it was with the mutants, with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, how they dance between the X-Men movies and the Marvel movies, but you can't call them mutants because Fox owns the term mutant. But they're mixed in between. It's kind of in that circle that even though they're technically supposed to just be mutants, they're allowed to be used in the Marvel movies.
So
but you're not using like Magneto or Wolverine.
She gets so convoluted, man, with all the red tape everywhere.
Yeah, with all the rights, because they sold the movies that wanted to be made, the X-Men and Spider-Man, they sold those so long ago in Fantastic Four, and no one cared about anything else. Iron Man was a B-level hero at best in the books before the movie started.
Yeah.
Now Iron Man is A-level. He's up there with Spider-Man, thanks to Robert Downey Jr.
Yep.
And that's they could use those characters to get it back. Like they got the Hulk back from
Universal.
Universal that had it the first go round.
Well, they don't yet.
They did it together. That's right. They can't do a standalone
Hulk movie, which is why Thor Ragnarok is essentially Planet Hulk.
They can use Hulk in the movies, but not a standalone movie. And now that the second Human Torch has left Fox and joined the MCU,
which is my favorite. My favorite point. Like Mike brought this up earlier before we did the show. I love this so much. So like, if people aren't totally aware, run through it. Because
so if you haven't seen the cover of Entertainment Weekly yet or seen the pictures, we all know that the first Human Torch is now Captain America.
Yes.
And then the second Human Torch, I don't know what his name is in Black Panther because I have not got my copy of Entertainment Weekly yet. But the actor's name is Michael B. Jordan, who was Human Torch
in the remake,
the reboot, who's now in the MCU. So even if for some crazy reason Fox decided to work out a deal like Sony did, and they brought the Fantastic Four to the MCU, well, your Human Torch is already a Black Panther character. Now, the same way, too, that I can't remember her actress's name right now, but she is in Luke Cage. If you guys watch Luke Cage?
The doctor.
Okay, so she's the
Rosario Dawson?
she's the sister who takes over the crime family.
Yeah.
She's the mom of the kid that gets killed in Sokovia in Civil War in the beginning of that. Same actress, so it's weird how they crossed over the. Yeah. Obviously, the TV show was after Civil War, but they've crossed those two, the same person there.
It's wild.
And then another good point if you're looking from Captain America to Spider-Man is the principal for Peter Parker is the grandson of one of the Marauders that worked with Captain America.
Yeah.
So you see a picture of him. Basically, it's himself because it's the same actor. But in the corner over there.
That's wild.
Yeah, playing my grandson. And did you notice when he lifts up the locker for the web fluid, it's web fluid 3.0, because this is the third Spider-Man character. So it's like this is a little nod to the first two.
Nod.
Yeah.
Oh, those Easter eggs. I mean, if anything, go see Spider-Man Homecoming for the Easter eggs because they're fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
But all
so
in all,
good.
I mean, it's a great movie, dude. Like you said,
it
was your
you
favorite.
stayed all the way to the end, right?
Of course.
Yeah,
I don't like. We won't spoil that. But you guys just stay through the end. It's fantastic.
It's as of right now for the MCU, not overall best comic movie ever, but MCU. I feel like Spider-Man is tentatively my number one favorite movie. I got to see a couple more times to lock it in, but before it was Captain America. Now it's this one.
It's crazy. So all in all, excellent stuff. Shane, you loved it. I loved it. Mike loved it. And I think that's gonna.
Let's talk about the plane now. So
the
freaking big ass giant plane that has all the cameras that were reflective, and so it's basically camouflage.
Yeah, they made it invisible.
They made it invisible like Wonder Woman's plane.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a big fight scene with the Vulture and Spider-Man at the end.
Because he's like, yeah, it was sick. I loved it.
It was cool. Like I loved it, man. I thought like what I love too about just the Vulture, like just the character design is amazing. Like because the original Vulture, has like a frill of like feathers, but instead you still get the frill, but it's from his bomber jacket.
Yeah.
And I thought because
Right.
it worked because it
And
was
the
like
same, if you notice between the shockers, the more they use the arms, it starts to
it starts to fade their clothing,
clothing.
to make it like yellow and gridded like the Shockers like outfit, which was
Yeah,
pretty
it
cool.
was
Up the arms.
they keep true to the characters, but they make it like accurate
right.
and
Updated.
kind of realistic.
I was trying to figure out how they were actually going to like make the Vulture's character, but the fact that he's a scrapper, it was actually really fucking cool because
Yeah.
that's what Vultures are.
Yeah, and it ties in with
Yeah.
Tony Stark with damage control, which is
Yeah.
another throwback to the old books too. That he comes in and just cleans all that shit up all the time.
Marvel, we love you.
So smart.
James Gunn, call me. Let's work on Guardians 3. All right, Shane, throw up our contact info. This is where you guys can follow us. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't followed on the Twitch channel, please do follow us. Turn on notifications so you guys can see us when we go live. If you don't follow us on YouTube,
hold on.
please follow us there.
Tap Fizzle wants to know what's the best overall movie. We could go for a super long discussion, but I will just tell you that it's X-Men First Class. That's my pick.
X-Men, it's
we
Mike's
can
favorite.
justify this next week because we're going to end the show.
We're going to think
this
about
week.
it. We're going to end on, so you have to
But-
check in with us next week, next Wednesday at 7:30 Central Time.
Hard.
Join
What
us.
is my favorite Marvel?
I know. Think about it. You
Well,
have a whole week, Shane.
Oh.
Don't
No,
give up
that's
the
not
farm
MC,
yet.
that's not MCU. That's different. That's Fox. But my overall number one
Comic book movie.
comic book related
Okay,
movie
gotcha.
would be that one.
That one.
For a lot of reasons.
There you go. Well, then make sure you guys tune in next week. We love you so much. Make sure you guys follow us on all of the social medias. I am Captain RedBeard, joined by Roxy Studios and my good friend Mike Full Metal. Is it Batman? Full Metal
No,
Penny on Twitter.
Penny on the Twitter, Full Metal Batman,
Batman
on
on
Instagram.
Instagram. So make sure you guys follow us on all of those things. We love you so much. And remember, don't be a dumbass. Be a wise man. We love you.